So I start with an apology for running late, because I think you've got a little bit on. What is going on in your life this week?
We've got a race on this weekend, obviously. As an Arsenal fan, I'm a little bit disappointed to hear that Amanda's actually got her eyes set on some other clubs in the Premier League. So that wasn't great to hear. But no, keeping very busy this week, obviously. We've got just the final touches. It's a pretty good time, I think, to be involved with the race, because it's like building a house. You know, you spend 12 months building the house, but it's the last couple of weeks when the fridges go in and the walls get painted and all of that thing, and it starts to look like a house. So it's now starting to look like a Formula One track.
So the idea of this session really is to get an understanding for people here, not how fast the drivers get into turn one and how do you finish and all that kind of stuff. It's basically what goes on behind the scenes. How do you close Singapore from Tuesday at midnight until next Monday? So before we drill down, give us some of the headlines. What are the big numbers? The tickets, how many stages, how many artists are there?
The circuit park is about 750,000 square metres. It's obviously in downtown Singapore, which does make a difference from some of the other temporary tracks. Miami, great event, but built, on a big car park. Melbourne's built in Albert Park, close to the city, whereas our event is obviously in the downtown streets of an international city. So that does make it challenging. 5 months we take to build the track, about 11, 12 weeks to tear it down, for 3 days of racing. Last year we had just about 270,000 people over the 3 days. We lost due to the redevelopment of the NS Square, the floating platform, which had 26,000 seats. So our largest crowd is over 300,000. But the demand is still well and truly there. Tickets all sold out, and last year we sold out 91% of the tickets before we'd even announced a music act. So the demand is very strong, and that makes everything else obviously a lot easier when you know that you've sold all your tickets.
When all your friends ask you for tickets all the time. I did preface him, but didn't I? He wasn't here at the time when I said don't ask Adam for tickets, because he hasn't got any. So F1 has grown massively, and thanks to it's innovating all the time. We've got the head of media here, Ian Holmes, on Wednesday, who was the executive producer of Drive to Survive. And there's so much to do with technology and marketing and stuff, but Are you witnessing the benefits at ground level?
Yeah, I think certainly. Formula One's always been identified very closely with innovation and technology generally, obviously the automotive industry. But I think very early on, back in the Bernie Ecclestone days, they identified that it's an entertainment brand, and that innovation really goes through into those areas. And Drive to Survive, I think, dealt with one of the challenges which motorsport has, and I've worked in other motorsport categories in previous lives, and you take these athletes and then you put fire retardant bodysuit on them from head to toe, put a helmet on them, you put them in a car, and then you send it past the crowd at 300 kilometres an hour. So it's a little bit difficult to get that connection between the heroes and the audience, and Drive to Survive certainly, I think, has done that. At ground level, I think where we see that is probably the drivers that are not getting onto the podium. So in the past, you knew Lewis Hamilton, you knew Michael Schumacher, you knew Sebastian Vettel, Max Verstappen, because they're on the podium. But a lot of the other drivers don't really get their face out there, and Drive to Survive has I think, done that. In merchandise sales and that, you see that actually that's flowing down through all of the teams, whereas in the past it may have just been those top 2 or 3.
And we've got Tina Houseman with us on Wednesday as well, which I mentioned earlier, which I'm really excited about. So things like the F1 Academy is really cool. And so I think with the calendar, the Grand Prix really has, like you said, it's differentiated by all the off-track stuff that's going on. It's not Silverstone where you turn up and watch the cars and go home. The music lineup is epic. It really is. I mean, I'm talking as a fan, but how on earth do you start curating? I mean, how many stages are there? How many artists are there? How many stages are there?
This year we've got 10 stages, about 140 hours of entertainment. I'm already looking at next year's race. Our fan base is Formula One fan base, and we know it pretty well from where the visitors come from, which areas of the track, whether it's by price point or the demographics of the people that are actually purchasing those, try to tailor the music in that area to that audience. So Friday, because it's practice rather than a race or a qualifying, it's the cheapest ticket that we sell. So the music there is aimed at a younger audience, for example. Whereas on race day, we've got Elton John and Smashing Pumpkins and some of these acts. So it's about knowing the audience, I guess. One thing about Formula One, obviously, is that while it's exciting while the race is on, there's large periods of downtime. And, in the same way, NBA just has these short periods of during timeouts, and they bring out the mascots to do double somersault dunks off of trampolines. We have these blocks of time where we try to fill it with a range of entertainment, music, acrobats, Brazilian dancers, magicians, whatever it may be, but to try and give something for everybody to entertain them during those periods when the cars aren't racing.
It is one. I mean, not just as a fan, but I'll say this now that there's a band playing on Friday called Lucky You on the Esplanade stage. Lucky You won Youth Music Matters. They're the best youth band in Singapore. They get to play at the Grand Prix. I mean, how cool! And it's just so amazing that you let us do that. And when Last Minute won it last year, I was there. It's 4:00 on a Friday afternoon. They're going to talk about it for the rest of their lives. Did I tell you when I played at the Grand Prix? Yes, Dad. Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Yeah, and look, well done, I think, for yourself for actually running that competition, because I think the opportunities in virtually anywhere, but certainly in Singapore, for young artistic talent to come up. There are not a lot of bars and pubs and that sort of thing that really have live music, so these types of opportunities, I think, are important, and obviously happy to support that.
That's fantastic. So yeah, look out for Lucky You on Friday afternoon at the Singapore Grand Prix. So you mentioned how long it takes to build, kind of behind the scenes and stuff. What are the main challenges you face in closing Singapore?
Yeah, well, I think that is sort of the challenge. Is what makes the event probably so special is what actually makes it challenging. It's genuinely in downtown Singapore. There's probably some STB people here who might have a better idea than me, but I would guess there must be 25,000, 30,000 hotel beds within walking distance of the racetrack, something like that. So, that obviously provides us with a great opportunity to make a party experience. With the first race to go at night time, and with the lights and the racing finishing at 10 o'clock, obviously we try to make that party go through into the night. But yeah, I think obviously closing down streets and trying to create as little impact to the public as possible, given the location of the circuit, is definitely the challenge. And I think the main thing is obviously having a good team, but really good relationships with the various agencies within government. So we work very closely with everyone from, I think, a whole of government approach, actually. Together we get it done. We'll close down the circuit Wednesday afternoon. And there are grandstands, 5,000-seat grandstands that we have to build on the road between then and race day on Friday. So, not much room for errors at that point.
And how big's the team that you have to bring in? Everyone, so all the volunteers?
Yeah, well, I think that's probably there's over 30,000 accredited personnel over the course of when we start the build to when we finish the teardown. And that includes, marshals and teams and broadcast people, But also we've got shopping malls and the theatre and hotels inside the actual circuit, and obviously they need to get overnight restocking of food and beverage and other stocks. So we need to provide a way of getting those businesses in and out of the track overnight. So over 30,000 people.
And you mentioned tourism, but do you know what impact have you made on tourism and the economy here?
I think obviously we've got some 750,000 visitors, I think, since 2008. This year we'll have near enough to 50,000, about half the crowd, who are coming in from overseas. But obviously hotels, cabs, restaurants, all of those things are busy. The latest calculation I think I saw STB put out was about $2.2 billion worth of economic impact since 2008. But it grows each year. We have over 700 local contractors in terms of the money that Singapore Grand Prix actually pays out, apart from Formula One and the artists. I think pretty much all of it would go into contractors based in Singapore. So, and that's important to us. Again, if you're going to create this inconvenience on the city, you've got to make sure that the rewards to the people are there. So we try to share that around the local industries.
And for the other 355 days of the year, how does F1 impact what you do? Does stuff come from that, or are you doing other things that not related?
Well, as I said, already working on next year's event. We do have other events within the organisation. Lushington puts on some concerts. We've got Teddy Swims coming up next. We also do the Christmas Wonderland event down at Marina Bay, Gardens by the Bay, which brings about 600,000 people. That's through another one of our company group. And it gives something for our team to do during those off months. So we keep busy throughout the year.
And there's obviously been conversations about other Grand Prix happening in the region. Do you think Bangkok would affect, what effect would Bangkok have on Singapore?
Look, I think Bangkok is obviously a wonderful city and it's got a lot going for it. I think theoretically I can understand why Formula One is looking at it. It's got great infrastructure in terms of hotels, obviously the flights from all around the world. It has a tourism industry that is already existing. Will there be some people from Australia, UK, who maybe fly to one Grand Prix a year who decide to go to Bangkok in 2028? Should they finalise the deal? Possibly, but I mean we've got 24 races on the calendar, and when Miami came on board, we're thinking what change is this going to do? When Vegas came on board, what change is this going to make for us? But I think the audience for Formula One is strong enough globally, and we've built our place within the calendar. I think the Singapore Grand Prix product is a strong one within the calendar, and so we just keep our head down and keep trying to make the event better each year, and I think we'll be fine.
And it's such a corporate hub here as well, right? That I don't think many countries in the world can compete with how, an entertainment business hub. The fact that I say this so many times that you've got TikTok's global headquarters, that you can walk to Facebook, who are in the same building as Snap, and then get in a cab, and 10 minutes later you're in Mapletree with Google's headquarters. I mean, that's always going to be an attraction, right?
I think we need to get you onto our sponsorship sales team. Look, I think it is. Singapore is obviously a hub. It has the best airport going around. It has, as I said, all those hotels nearby. It's a very easy event for people to get around. Again, a fantastic relationship between the organiser and the various government agencies. 16 events, plus a couple of off years for COVID. yeah, I mean, it'll be tough to deliver a brand new street race in a place like Bangkok. And also, I think, yeah, getting that corporate mix as well as being able to bring the tourists in, but also be able to sell tickets to locals, given, it's a very expensive event to put on, and so therefore the ticket pricing reflects that. So I think that will be also a challenge for Bangkok, and Singapore is, again, very well placed with that. We have a very good balance between local ticket sales and international.
And if anyone wants to buy sponsorship for the Singapore Grand Prix, just my number. You've got a lot of emails from me, so you know how to get me. Okay, final question for you, Adam, because I know you've got a race to start or some roads to close. What are you looking forward to the most?
Monday morning? I mean, the biggest challenge, most of the works is done in a way. At this point, I'll probably just try to keep out of everybody's way. And then, hopefully, I mean, the biggest thing is weather. I think for most outdoor events, that's going to be the biggest challenge. More so for us because the actual racing can be impacted, and we've seen that in recent years. And then that spills over, any delays will spill over into music lineups and that type of thing. So that's probably the thing that I'm most concerned about. But on the other hand, the reason I think most of us are in this is because when the event starts and you look around and you see 100,000 people with smiles on their face having a great time, that's the moment you get to enjoy it. And then at about 12:30, then people start tearing it down, and that's quite depressing, actually. So,
I remember you talking about the weather. I remember when the first time Robbie was here, and it rained. It was proper Singapore rain, and he walked out on stage. Everyone was getting soaked, and he said, "If you stay, I'll stay." And he did the whole set, and it was unbelievable. It was fantastic. But look, I know we're out of time. Adam, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. Good luck with the rest of the week. Get to Monday. And hopefully we'll have some fun with all the artists and everything going on. Thank you so much. Good luck.
Yeah, thanks, mate. You too.